Hey everyone, it is late at night and I am Norman. My youngest son has a few watches that I've given him and a couple watches that he's purchased himself. And he likes wearing all of them, most of them. He's not really a watch person though. All of his pieces are quartz and he likes them, but he's not really into watches so much. But a couple of them have dead batteries. And I told him that I could change the battery in one of them. The other one has decent water resistance, so I encouraged him to go to the mall watch guy, the guy I go to, because he can ensure the water resistance when he's done. I just don't trust myself when it comes to pieces that have decent water resistance. I remember years and years ago, I actually bought a Citizen watch with a bonus that I got from work, so it was decent. It was a quartz piece. The battery died in it, so I took it back to the jewelry store that I purchased the watch at, and they told me that they couldn't do it. And I argued, because I bought it there, and I didn't really know anything about watches, so I was like, yeah, you can. I bought the watch here, why can't you change the battery? I have nowhere else to go because I had no idea where to get watch batteries changed. So I argued them into changing the battery. So they did that. A couple weeks later, I took a vacation to Indiana where my mom was living. We were enjoying the sunshine and floating in the pool. And wouldn't you know it? Yeah, the watch leaked. So I'm not going to mess with pieces that have decent water resistance, but he has a very inexpensive dress watch that I purchased and did a couple videos of. That one I will change the battery on. And that watch is the Peugeot. Peugeot? That name. So I opened up the watch and found something hilarious and strange inside of it. So tonight, let's see what's in this watch, because it's a little crazy. Alright, here is the Peugeot. Peugeot? Pronouncing watch brands is the bane of my existence. I'm going to go with Peugeot. Hopefully that isn't too painful. But here's the watch up close. You can see that there is a time dial here and a seconds dial down here. This was a very inexpensive watch. It looks really cool though. It's a great design. So let's take the back off. And I'm going to show you the surprise that lies in wait inside this watch. The tools that we'll need is a case knife. This is a cheap one that came with a case press. I got a few of these with different size blades on them. And I find that these work the best. I have a really cool Bourgeon knife that I got, and that one just doesn't work like these do. It's really bizarre and sad because I love that case knife. But we have this. We have a sandwich bag to try and protect the case against tool marks. And that's really all we need. We're not going to need a case press to close it. This actually pops back on by hand. Alright, so let's get this case opened up. Here is the lip right there. We'll drape this over it, just in case I slip. I'm going to insert the knife into that little slot there. And as further protection, I'm also going to press down here. So if the knife slips, hopefully this finger will stop it from going anywhere. And I'm going to press in and wiggle the knife a little bit. There we go, it popped. This case back has a really good lip in there. It's easy to get the knife into it, and yeah, much easier than some of the other watches I've opened. Alright, what is in this watch? Look at that. Two completely separate movements. One of them doesn't even have a crown at all. So the seconds subdial on here actually has absolutely nothing to do with the time dial, and because they're separate movements and take two different batteries, one of these movements could die before the other one, and you would have no idea what's going on. So you could have your seconds movement die first, and it would look like the watch isn't working. However, this one could still actually be going, so it would be telling the correct time, but it would look like the watch is dead. However, on the other hand, the time dial, its battery could die, and because the seconds are still ticking away, if you had never opened this watch up, you would think that the watch was still running, but the time is wrong and not moving. So if either of those happened and you had never opened this watch up, you would assume that your watch was broken. I mean, of course, they're not going to have some kind of crazy movement in this watch that actually has the seconds linked up to the time. So they're actually telling the seconds for the time. Once the seconds hit 12, this movement actually advances another minute, because this is a super cheap watch. So I'm not really sure what I was actually expecting to see when I opened this up, but this is pretty crazy and humorous. It's a great idea to pull off this aesthetic cheaply. It's so wild seeing a movement without a crown there. And honestly, I have a sci-fi watch that's kind of similar to this. My 01 The One, or 1 The One watch. This thing is so crazy looking. But actually inside this watch are 3 batteries. There's a battery for this display, a battery for this display, and a third battery for this second part that rotates as though it's a seconds hand. Yeah, so this crazy thing takes 3 batteries, and unfortunately, it's dead. Yeah, I wonder if my watchmaker could fix this. The guy at the mall won't touch it, because I think he's part of a parent company, and they won't let him touch watches that have stuff like this on the front, because he could damage it putting the case back on. But yeah, I should look around, see if I can't find somebody that could fix the contacts or whatever went wrong on the inside. That was due to me changing the battery myself. I think the contacts just kind of got loose, but I do have 2 of these watches, so whoever does work on it can source parts from the other one if need be. I mean, it is a cool looking watch. So yeah, I'm going to carefully remove this spacer, find out what kind of batteries this watch takes, and change those for my son, but thought I would share with you the craziness that I found inside. For now, we'll pop this back on. As easy as that. While I have this watch, let's see what it looks like when you're wearing it. It's been a while. Tonight I'm wearing the Project's Ode to the Square watch. Super fun and cool. And quartz. Let me take this off, and we'll see what the Peugeot looks like when it's on your wrist. And there it is on my 7-inch wrist. It is a cool looking watch. I forget how much this was, but it was super cheap. Was it maybe $40, $30? Something like that. I don't recall. And it looks great on my son's wrist when he's wearing it. I think he wears this one often, actually. But yeah, did I mention I have a 7-inch wrist, and my wrist is 55 millimeters wide. So there you have it, the genius solution to keeping a watch ultra affordable and yet having double dials. And it's just hilarious because they really have nothing to do with one another. Thanks for watching.